What happens when an abusive relationship ends? Hi, I'm Simon Dippenaar and I'm a family lawyer. Today, as we observe the 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children, I'd like to talk to you about a phenomenon called post-separation abuse. We all know that South Africa has a staggeringly high rate of gender-based violence and intimate partner violence. It can be very difficult for an abused woman to escape an abusive situation. For financial reasons, for social and cultural reasons, often for very practical reasons. And women frequently stay with their abuser out of fear of what might happen if they try to leave. Over 60% of women killed in South Africa in 2020 to 2021 were killed by an intimate partner. Femicide is often the culmination of repeated episodes of gender-based violence. I don't have exact data from South Africa, but an American study showed that 55% of femicide victims were separated from their abuser. Leaving or attempting to leave a relationship is a risk factor for femicide. If she does manage to leave and stay alive, what are her chances of breaking free from the abuse? Unfortunately, post-separation abuse is extremely common. Where there have been domestic violence or coercive control in a marriage or other relationship, it often continues after divorce or separation. If you or someone you know is experiencing continued abuse from a former partner, I hope this video will provide some helpful information. Breaking free from an abusive relationship is a huge step, but is unfortunately only the first step and not the last for many women. Post-separation abuse often continues long after the marriage or relationship has ended. It is defined as an ongoing, willful pattern of intimidation of a former intimate partner. It includes legal abuse, economic abuse, threats and endangerment to children, isolation and discrediting, harassment and stalking. Separation or divorce from an abusive partner is often viewed with relief by friends and family as the solution to past violence. However, up to 90% of women report continued harassment, stalking, or abuse after separation from an abusive partner. The abuser may use coercion or threats, publish intimate photos on social media, or cause disruption at her place of work. Post-separation abuse includes physical abuse, emotional abuse, such as using intimidation, fear, for example, causing damage to property, isolating and discrediting her, spreading rumors or claiming she is mentally unstable, threatening self-harm or convince her to return, minimizing abuse by making light of their actions or accusing her of over-exaggerating, denying past abusive behavior, blaming her for her behavior, monitoring calls or messages, stalking her on social media, using a tracker such as an AirTag to track her movements. It could be financial abuse, such as blocking access to bank accounts, emptying joint accounts, refusing to pay maintenance even if ordered by the court, refusing to pay agreed costs such as school fees or paying them late, causing stress. Legal abuse might be filing excessive or frivolous motions, dragging out legal proceedings, or exploiting the legal system to intimidate. It's making false accusations of child abuse or criminal behavior against her. If the abusive spouse continues to exert coercive control via these behaviors, the survivor continues to feel traumatized and fearful. She may feel insecure and mistrustful and emotionally exhausted. Family and friends expect her to have a new lease on life, but she feels misunderstood and unsupported. What about the children? Post-separation abuse has both immediate and long-term effects on children. They experience what child psychologists refer to as adverse childhood experiences. This term is issued to describe any traumatic event during childhood that undermines a child's sense of stability. The stress caused by these experiences can affect brain development and even lead to chronic health problems, mental illness, and substance misuse in adulthood. Children may also be used to channel the abuse aimed at their mother. Tactics may include parental alienation or working against the other parent instead of cooperating. For example, the abusive spouse may deliberately oppose the other parent on major parenting decisions, disrupt the child's routine or schedule, or undermine the other parent's rules for acceptable behavior. There are legal protections in place, such as protection orders that can help survivors of abuse, whether pre- or post-separation. However, a protection order may not prevent all the behaviors I've described. It's important to work with a good family lawyer who understands abuse dynamics. It's also helpful to seek support from women's organizations, therapists, and advocacy groups. A survivor's response to post-separation abuse is highly personal. What works for one person may be a dangerous move for another. But these tips may help. Don't try reasoning with an abuser. It only leads to frustration and can exacerbate emotional abuse. Boundaries are crucial. Refuse to engage in arguments. Limit contact. If you can't avoid the abusive spouse altogether, limit contact to public spaces or events where others are around. Limit the abuser's access. Open a separate bank account and change the passwords to social media accounts if you suspect they have access. Confide in people you trust. Close friends and family members can provide emotional support. Join support groups. Speaking with other survivors can help you process your experience in a safe environment. Get help. Hotlines, domestic violence shelters, and counselors are sources of advice and practical help. Document the abuse. Documenting as much as possible can help build a case against the abuser should it be necessary. You do not have to tolerate post-separation abuse. I've dealt with many cases of domestic violence and emotional abuse in intimate relationships. I can help you develop coping strategies and ultimately break free from post-separation abuse. Get in touch with me on the number below or contact the Stop Gender Violence Helpline on 0800 150 150. I've also listed some organizations that can help in the notes below.